Alderman Crudup.
Present.
Alderman Key.
Present.
Alderman Randall.
Present.
Alderman Rogers.
Present.
Alderman Mayor Clark.
Present. Does anybody know what happened to our flag? Anyone? Anyone? No one? Okay. Next item on the agenda is the invocation and pledge of allegiance. I'll do the invocation and lead us in the pledge. You can bow your heads, please. Heavenly Father God, we come before you with our hearts humbled in the best way we know how, Lord, asking for your forgiveness for everything that we may have done that is not pleasing within your sight. Asking that you will continue to bless us, O Lord, with your grace, your mercy, and your favor, as you are an awesome God, and we know who you are, and we know that we need no one else. Heavenly Father, we ask that as we begin this mission of conducting today's council meeting, that you will put it on our spirits to always keep in mind that the first one that we serve is you. That everything that we do is to uplift your name, magnify you, and give you praise. Grant us wisdom, O Lord, so that we will make good decisions on behalf of the people who you have put in our charge, the people of the city of Harvey. We ask, O Lord, that you will bring your spirit among us and that you will keep us in your bosom, keeping us away from the ways of Satan and keeping him away from us. We ask for your protection, O Lord, because no one can protect us but you. We know that you are the ultimate. You are our Lord, our King of kings, the holiest of the holies. And we thank you so much, O Lord. We thank you so much for keeping us and blessing us and showing us favor. And this we ask in your name. Amen. Amen. And there's no flag, but stand anyway. It would be here. So I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, our next item on the agenda is item number 4, new business. 4A, approval of minutes dated May 10, 2021. The chair would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
It's a motion by the 5th, second by the 3rd. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Alderwoman Drewinski.
Pass.
Alderman Key.
Yes.
Alderman Crudup.
Yes.
Alderman Randall.
Yes.
Alderman Rogers.
Yes.
Alderman Tolbert. Motion carried.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next item on the agenda is item 4B, bills for payments list, May 24, 2021. The chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Before we approve we had an opportunity to have some discussion in the finance meeting prior to this meeting, Mayor, and there was really nothing that was really outstanding. There were some that were a little higher than they normally are for the month of May, and so Mr. Lewis Williams said that he would have invoices for us to review for the next meeting. So Chair makes a motion to accept the bills list as it is.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor by the 5th. We need a second.
Second.
Second by the 6th. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Alderman Randall.
Yes.
Alderman Key.
Yes.
Alderman Crudup.
Yes.
Alderwoman Drewinski.
Yes.
Alderman Rogers.
Yes.
Alderman Tolbert. Motion carried.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. The next item on the agenda is new business 4C1, an ordinance of the City of Harvey, Cook County, Illinois, amending Chapter 2 52 of Title II of its municipal code regarding the police department. This particular ordinance is specifically aimed, to be short, at an attempt to put more officers on the street. Right now, at this particular point in time, in our police department, we have just as many supervisors as we have actual patrol officers. What this does is basically means that at the end of the day, we have more people staying in the building than out on the street. What I'm hoping to accomplish through this ordinance, and I'm trying to be brief, what I'm hoping to accomplish through this ordinance is through the managerial rights of the city of Harvey, and of course me being the CEO and the person who's primarily responsible for the management of the police department, is to try to give the people what they want and our residents what they have asked for, which is to get us more police officers on the street. This is only the first step in the beginning, because we need more than what we would have now by taking this measure. But I'm hoping to get the council's support on the matter, and that being said, the chair would entertain a motion.
I make the motion.
Before we make the motion, I'd like to make a motion that we send this particular ordinance to Public Safety Committee.
There's already a motion on the floor. Is there a second? There's a motion by the first and second by the third.
Discussion.
The chair recognizes the alderman from the second ward.
So, Mayor, I guess because if you read this ordinance, you might not understand exactly what it is, or a resident wouldn't. So this will ultimately eliminate the position of sergeant in the force, correct?
That is correct.
And then the hopes is to move some of them to patrolman and others to the new lieutenant positions or the 4 lieutenant positions.
Repeat that again.
The amount of the reduction of sergeants, some will go become lieutenants, 4 of them, and then the rest will become patrolmen.
Yes, that's a possibility.
So how would you pick the lieutenants?
What was that? We're going to test. We plan on testing for those.
Okay, so then the actual sergeants wouldn't even be guaranteed those jobs?
Well, they wouldn't be guaranteed anything. That's the whole point of testing.
Okay, and then my question is, why haven't we settled the patrolman contract and just hired more patrolmen?
Why haven't we settled the patrolman
Yeah.
contract and hired more patrolmen?
Yeah, why won't we just hire more patrolmen?
So how would you suggest that we do that?
Huh?
How would you suggest that we do that?
I don't know how that's administrative, I'm asking a question, because that's your job.
Yeah, well, if it's my job, then hopefully you'll just let me manage and do my job, which is what I'm trying to do.
Why won't we just hire more police?
Well, we're still in negotiations with the patrol officers, and I'm not going to discuss the details of our negotiations. That I'm not going to do.
Okay. So,
But I will tell you this much: this administration has been trying to basically find every alternative that it possibly could to try to put more people on the street, and this is the solution that we come up with at this particular point in time.
sounds great. So then, my question is, with us moving these sergeants to patrolmen, that doesn't make negotiations a little more difficult?
Well, we've contacted both our labor council and also our corporation council, and they seem to have no issue with the impact.
No, I didn't.
No, well, they're also the ones involved in the negotiations.
Okay. So then, will they be entitled to the new patrolman contract as well? The officers we move down to patrolman?
Well, if they end up being patrol officers, that would be reasonable
So after
and logical.
So after we remove them as sergeants, they're not guaranteed to be patrolmen either?
Yes, they are.
Oh, so then you said, oh, well,
I said that would be reasonable and logical.
okay.
In other words, obvious.
So we should get rid of sergeants, so we will have no sergeants.
No.
So then who will lead the force? So help me understand the new chain of command.
Well, until we get the commanders, we have several other things that we plan on doing. But one thing is until we get the lieutenants, we have several other things we plan on doing. But we also have 4 commanders, as you see. And right now, at this particular point in time, they seem to be doing, you said you read the ordinance, right?
Yeah, we said,
Okay.
yeah, but I don't know the 4 commanders. I ain't seen them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well then we do. And so at this particular point in time, we have enough leadership on staff, because we were already top-heavy. We have enough leadership on staff to be able to handle the matter.
And then how do we go about with the vehicle situation and all of that? Because we haven't gotten our new fleet of cars that we approved and all of that.
Yes.
More patrolmen, I mean, it's bigger than just saying we're going to put more police on the street.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
How are we going to deal with that?
how are we going to deal with that?
Yeah.
Well, it's very simple. We're going to put more than one in a car.
Okay.
Police officers ride 2 to a car. You ever seen Training Day? Even though I hope our situation isn't quite like that one.
No, it's not like that one. But yeah,
Okay.
I see, yeah.
But police, Starsky and Hutch, who's the other ones? Anybody know all of them?
So,
Cagney and Lacey? Okay, there you go. So police officers do patrol two to a car.
okay, now then, okay, they two to the car, more patrolmen now. What's going to be the ramification on the legal side for the city once we get rid of this sergeant? Or the Civil Service Board, and I kind of asked some questions about this. What's going to be the fight with the Civil Service Board? Is it going to cost us a whole bunch of legal fees? Tell me about that process.
Well, we don't necessarily deal in hypotheticals, but what I can tell you is that the union has the right to request to negotiate the impact, and from my understanding, they have already made that request.
So just a hypothetical that if we eliminate the sergeants, they all will become patrolmen.
That's not a hypothetical.
That's a fact?
The hypothetical was to the question that you asked previously.
I'm asking, but is it a fact that they all going to become patrolmen?
Yes.
Okay. All right, well, I'm done with the question.
All right.
I'm not in agreement with that. I think we need to figure out the patrolman union contract and then settle that and then hire more officers. If we have a shortage, it don't make sense to shuffle the
Point
supply.
of order.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Well, let them finish. Let them finish.
No, I don't think we should shuffle the supply. I think we should add to the supply if we're having a shortage of officers on the street. But I think the issue with the shortage of officers is definitely greater than just too many people sitting in the building if that's what they're actually doing. I mean, that's a management call, but sounds good.
We thank you for your comment. Any others?
Point of order.
The chair recognizes the Sixth Ward.
Yeah, I think it's an admirable quality that we want to put more boots on the ground, and I'm all in favor for having more officers in a visible capacity in the city for the safety and the well-being of the citizens here in Harvey. But I think I also would like to have some input from the chief of the police department to see how he feels that how he would react to not having sergeants anymore. I understand you got great capabilities, but I would like to heard something from the chief, the actual chief himself, to let us know what his thoughts are on not having sergeants anymore.
Okay. Well, we've already, once again, the reason why I'm here before you is because I've talked to my staff. Okay, the chief of police is a part of that staff. And I've consulted with the chief of police, the deputy chief, two attorneys, and of course other members within the staff to get their opinions on the matter. That's the reason why we're moving forward. I don't just move forward arbitrarily, okay, and independently. I try to use wisdom in many of these decisions, and many of these decisions are not easy, Alderman, at the least bit. They're very difficult decisions.
This is one that's very difficult.
But decisions have to be made. And one of the things that our current president, Joe Biden, has said, the one thing that he doesn't like about, he can't stand as far as action is concerned, is inaction. Now, it's a very difficult decision, and we have definitely weighed a lot of as the second ward alderman used the word, ramifications from doing this. But we feel very secure on what we're doing. And as far as my staff is concerned, my staff is 100% on board. So you don't necessarily have to hear from the chief for me to tell you that.
Point of order.
Chair recognizes the fourth ward.
Thank you, Mayor. My question is this, because this is a serious concern for me also. I am for us having more police officers because we definitely need more police in the city of Harvey. I'm more concerned about the fact that we've been through 4 chiefs in the last 2 years. The stability of the department. I'm concerned about the morale. I'm looking at the situation. You said 4 commanders, from captains to commanders, and then from lieutenants to sergeant. Now, is a lieutenant a higher position than a sergeant?
I didn't quite understand that question.
Is that a higher ranking position, a lieutenant from a sergeant?
Well, it won't even matter in this particular case because we won't have sergeants anymore.
All right, well, basically looking at the order right here that you have right here, it seems like people are being demoted.
Okay.
If they're going from a commander to the patrols, they're being demoted, and they just spend years of service. So the question I'm asking you, in order to keep the morale going and we need more officers, are you even concerned that the people that are gonna be demoted down to a lower position and back on the streets, are they gonna be willing to want to stay with the force? Because we can lose police officers just by being demoted.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's a real serious concern, and I just wish this is something that we all can equally discuss as a team. I understand that you are in charge of the day-to-day operations, but when you make decisions like this to this magnitude, it would be really professional and more of a team environment if we were more equally involved.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your comment. I appreciate that.
Well, I'm concerned about the morale. There's too
Yeah.
many changes going on within the police department. And just 2 years, and now we finna demote people.
This
What's gonna happen if they won't walk out?
This department is in great need of change, Alderman. This department is a department that was raided not once, but twice by the FBI. That's the Harvey Police Department. This is a department that was raided once by the state of Illinois. This is the same department that was also receiving a negative Department of Justice review and a negative Cook County Sheriff assessment. That's this department. There is no other department in the United States of America, and that's the sad part. The sad part is there is no other department in the United States of America that has that designation but the Harvey Police Department. And so we are changing in a big way. And in order for us to change in a big way, we have to make some big changes. Now, these are things that probably should have been done a long time ago. But no one had the fortitude, by the way it appeared, to do so. In 2019, we just had some people from the Harvey Police Department get arrested for extortion and falsifying reports. This is in an era of Black Lives Matter, defunding police, police reform, all those things are going on. Our people deserve better. And we are reorganizing this department because our people, our residents, the people who we are sworn to serve, deserve better. But instead of dealing with the issue, because that's the what is it, the 5,000-pound gorilla, or is that what it is? That's in the room, is most people don't want to address those things that have happened in the Harvey Police Department. They don't want to address it. They want to sweep it under the rug and act like it never even happened. That impacts our credibility as a city. That impacts our credibility from an economic development standpoint. It impacts our ability to engage in 21st century policing, because the first prong of 21st century policing is to establish or reestablish the trust and integrity of the department. There are so many things that have to be done as far as the police department is concerned. And when I'm looking at the lens in which I am trying to manage the department based on what the people elected me told me I could do, that lens is looking at how they are protected. That's the only lens that I have, how they are protected, how we are going to work to build this department to help to protect them. Now, there may be some people that may not be happy with the decision, and I understand that, because I wouldn't necessarily be pleased about it either. And honestly, to tell you the truth, I'm not really pleased about it now. But with what we're faced with, the decision has to be made. But at the end of the day, we have 40 million people that are unemployed in the United States of America at this particular point in time, and some of those people are good police officers. And if those police officers that we're considering now are good police officers, which I am going to surmise that they are, then they are going to remember their oath, and they are going to do their jobs, because that's what we pay them for. And we've paid them to the tune of over $300,000 in overtime this year so far for doing that job, because we don't have enough patrolmen on the street. So the ones that we have to wear them out. We have to work them to death. They get demoralized too. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to add more boots on the ground, create better patrol. That's why we're getting the cars, okay, to create better patrol, to help to deter crime versus responding to it, because that seems to be all we're doing now. I want every single person, and that guy back there, our deputy chief can tell you, because I've said it over and over again, but so other people in this room can. I want everybody in that department outside in a car. If you're not pertinent to the operation of the building, we need to have everybody out there on that street having having a visible presence so that our residents can see us, but also so that the criminals will know that we are there. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired when it comes to crime. And so I'm trying to do something about it in an organization that has had a black mark and a black eye on its face for years. And so what I'm hoping and I'm praying is that the council will support me in that matter so that we can help to serve these people and do the job that they elected us to do. She recognizes them.
I'm not finished yet.
You're not finished?
No, I was not finished yet.
She'll re-recognize the fourth ward.
Okay, you somewhat answered my question, but the most important part was keeping up the morale in the police department. So if you said people is going to encourage people to come and work harder every day, I mean, just giving you an example, just a small example. If you need surgery, and it's a doctor, right, and he's coming to work, he done just been demoted, or his staff done been fired, or whatever, he don't have that morale like he wants to. Would you want him operating on you? That's the point I'm trying to make. How are we gonna keep the morale going in the police department if we're steady downsizing and getting rid of people? That's the main thing I wanna say. How's the morale is gonna stay up? What is the chief gonna do, and what are you gonna do, and what can I do to keep these officers in high spirit every day when they come to work?
Okay, and I understand that. Are you done?
Yes.
Okay, that is a very important issue. So I don't want to demean or negate that, what you stated. It's not my primary concern, I will tell you. Because the amount of money that we're paying people here in this city, remember, 80% of our budget goes to what? Anybody know the answer to that question? Payroll. 80% of our budget goes to payroll. And of that payroll, the vast majority of those people don't even live in the city of Harvey. So as far as I'm concerned, they're getting paid to do a job. And there are lots of people who would like to do that job and get paid. But every person that lives here in the city of Harvey that's a resident that currently works, I'm pretty sure when they go to work, their boss is not asking them, are you happy today? Do you think you want to do your job today? Because if you're not feeling too well, you make sure you go back home and you come back when you feel better. That's not what's happening to our residents. Our residents have to go to work and they have to deal with the situation. Even when they have bosses, and some may say it, I'm the same way, even when they have bosses that they don't like. Because the picture is bigger. As far as your job is concerned, the picture is taking care of yourself and taking care of your family and whatever responsibilities that you have. These are grown men and women. And some of them have been on the force for years. So they should understand their responsibility. But also they took an oath, just like we did. And that oath did not say to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the state of Illinois, and make sure that I'm happy every single day when I come to work. It did not say that. They have a responsibility. And of course I would love for them to be happy. So I'm not going to negate that. But I can't make my decisions for this community based on that because the community suffers. And just like I say, I'm sick and tired. I'm pretty sure they're sick and tired too. They want to see some changes in the police department. Nationally, we're calling for changes in the police department. And that change has come. The chair recognizes the alderwoman from the 1st Ward. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You know, back in my days, it was called downsizing. Today's date, it's called right-sizing. We have to deal with X amount of dollars. If I'm understanding this correctly, and I believe I am, X amount of dollars, and we have to cover the entire city. Imagine being a police officer. You're out on patrol, and you have more managerial staff than you do police officers. That is demoralizing. Now, how did we get that? That's yesterday's. It's today. So we have to use the resources we have to help everyone. There are 11, if I remember correctly, 11 sergeants. There are 4 shifts. You're supposed to have 2 sergeants per a shift. That's 8 people. But we have 11. Then we have lieutenants.
No, we don't have lieutenants yet.
We don't have lieutenants?
No.
Okay, I'm sorry. So what we are doing, which this ordinance represents, we are promoting and we are right-sizing. And anytime with change comes the morale. I work at South Suburban College. They are in the process of doing right-sizing. And yes, everyone is wide-eyed, wondering where are the changes coming. But the bottom line, out of anyone sitting here, is the residents watching this right now. The residents who are trying to call the police because they're hearing shots. But we have our officers on another side of the city. By providing more police coverage, even 2 people per car. Because right now, if I was a police officer, I wouldn't want to pull over anyone by myself and not have backup. Would you? So, I mean, we're trying, at least this ordinance is trying. I asked a few people, they all favor it. So, I mean, I'm worried about the residents. I'm worried about our financial situation. I'm worried about the morale. But bottom line, we have a responsibility, and that's all I would like to say.
Chair recognizes the Alderman from the 5th Ward.
Thank you, sir. My question is, what happens if this ordinance fails tonight? What's the recourse?
Well, so that's a really big question.
Well, I think it's better, we understand why we're doing it. But I think it's also important to understand where we're at, outside of the obvious, that
Yeah.
we won't have more people, more police officers on the street. That's the obvious. But as the first word Alderwoman kind of went to, and you said, if we're at 300,000.
That's where I was going to go, so I guess maybe you can.
Okay. If I wanted you to say, but if we're at 300,000 and we're in May, where are we at in December? Where are we at in terms of payroll? Where are we at in terms from a financial standpoint? I wanted you to just kind of speak to where we end up at if this decision doesn't pass today.
Well, its bottom line is it's not sustainable. We cannot sustain to continue to operate the way that we were operating before. I mean, that's just the bottom line. So, and the thing about it is, as I said earlier, that it's a difficult decision. It's an extremely difficult decision because there's no win and loss here. You know, there's no right or wrong here. It's really a situation of just trying to do the best that you can with what you have for the people that you're supposed to represent. Because, I mean, if we can't sustain the amount of overtime that the amount that we're spending in overtime, then, and we don't pass this ordinance, then we force ourselves sometime in the future to having to lay off. But then if we lay off, doesn't that defeat the purpose? Because we're trying to get more people on the street? So that defeats the purpose. We don't want to get to that point to where we have to make even harder decisions. The last time that there was a layoff here in the city, it really caused some massive ripples, you know, in the universe. Because a lot of people were impacted, but more so, the people who were impacted were the people who are the residents in the city of Harvey. And so we cannot sustain this. So some decisions have to be made, some changes have to be made. And that's what we're trying to do at this particular point in time.
There's a motion in a second.
Yes, there is a motion and a second. Okay, I will go ahead. The chair recognizes the alderman from the second ward.
So, Mayor, could you explain to us why we can't just hire more patrolmen if we already have afforded $200,000 in overtime? It's just not logical to hire more patrolmen than destroy morale in the police department that's already facing challenges. And then my other question, we haven't gotten the cars yet, and we're waiting on them, and we really don't know the date. I mean, I was told we might get them mid-July, whatever. So we got 2 per car. Does that really increase the amount of police officers they see in terms of presence? If we
Actually,
only
it
have 2
does.
Cars, I mean, you see more bodies, but if they're sharing a car, one officer can go to a call, another officer split off and go to another call. How does that work? That's why it would be nice to have the police chief here to
Well, see-
explain this process.
Well, see, one of the things that happens when it comes to responding to calls,
Yes, sir.
and this comes when you're a boot on the ground and you're actually managing the department,
Yeah,
Or-
the chief could explain this.
I'm explaining it to you. The chief is not here.
Convenient.
Would you like the explanation or not, good sir? So seeing he doesn't want any other questions?
Yes.
The chair recognizes the sixth ward.
Good thing we're not on Zoom, Mayor. Hold on.
Yes, sir. The chair is recognizing the
Good
sixth.
thing we're not on Zoom, Mayor. Mute me, but I asked the question, why can't we just hire patrolmen? Answer that.
We've
I'm
examined,
asking this to the residents.
we've
It's not for me.
examined that, and I've already answered that question previously.
Why haven't
We have examined that already.
What's the results from the exam?
Is that we can't do it. It's not the best course of action.
Why not? Tell us why. You
Because
wanna
it's
talk
not
about
the
all
best course of
overtime.
action.
You telling me getting rid of the sergeants is the best course of action now. Tell me why we can't, or why hiring patrolmen is not the best course of action right now.
Because we've done a benefit cost analysis over the whole thing, and that's not the best course of action.
Could you share that with us?
No, I cannot.
Oh, yeah, that's why.
Chair recognizes the sixth ward.
Mayor, I've served on the Harvey Police Department in a capacity as a patrol officer. And,
You were a patrol officer?
yes, sir,
Oh.
deputy marshal.
Oh, okay,
Patrol at night, yes, sir.
okay.
And the sergeants have always been the meat and potatoes of any police department. What I mean by that is that they actually prevent inexperienced officers from going out there in public doing foolish mistakes, costing the city litigations and lawsuits. Okay, sergeants have always been able to advise younger, inexperienced officers. Now, I do understand if we eliminate all the sergeants and replace them with lieutenants, but these lieutenants, we don't know if they're gonna have the necessary skill set or experience that's gonna be necessary to advise a younger police force that we're gonna need. Because what we don't need is more lawsuits, okay, due to inexperienced officers going out doing something that they may have shouldn't have done. And I think the sergeants play a key role in advising them when they're out on the streets. Now, my colleague in the first ward said that there should have been 2 per shift for 4 shifts, so that's 8. Is there any way that maybe we could eliminate 3 on a trial basis and then bring this back for committee for another review? Because I really don't want to see, and like Alderman Key said, the morale and everything is going down, but I also would like to see safety welfare as far as the citizens. I have a lot of shootings in my ward. My Ring doorbell is notifying me all the time that there's shootings all the time. So as elected officials, our main concern is to look out, and we took an oath for the betterment and the quality of life of each resident here in this ward. And are we actually doing that by eliminating the sergeants?
So, sergeants, according to what you're saying, help to, I'd say the lesser trained or the inexperienced officers to, I guess, learn how to perform good functions and good policing.
When I was a patrolman, they helped me.
Okay, that was in when?
Long time ago.
Okay, long time ago. You know, it's funny, but I was just reading you, and you were mentioning, lawsuits and things of that nature. Yeah, I was just reading a lawsuit the other day that is eventually going to make its way before this council, where 3 sergeants, 3 experienced sergeants, one who used to be a chief, okay, and I can say that because it's a matter of public record, that's getting sued. So it didn't reduce the lawsuits. It doesn't reduce the lawsuits at all. But also, as far as, like I said, yes, sergeants in general, I would agree with that assessment. Sergeants in general, police officers in general. I don't think there's anybody out here that would say that police officers are bad. No, the vast majority of the police officers we have are good. But that didn't stop the FBI from coming in the building. I would agree. Twice. Yeah. Those good sergeants didn't stop the FBI from coming in the building twice. They didn't stop the state from coming in once. And all of their experience, sure enough, didn't change that situation. Maybe what they should have been doing at that particular point in time is they should have been saying something when those crimes were taking place in the police department. Maybe that's what they should have been doing. But they weren't doing that either. So once again, now we are faced with a situation where we have to make a decision. The reform is here. And if the reform is not here, I'm just going to make it plain and simple. I will let the people know that the aldermen did not want that reform. That the aldermen did not want those people on the street. And that if they have issues with policing, they need to go to the aldermen and ask them why.
The alderman also does not want the crime to continue to skyrocket.
So,
and the gun shooting.
exactly. So therefore, there is a motion on the floor and a second. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll? You're a non-voting, but okay. That's not usual, but go ahead, Madam Treasurer. Yes, ma'am.
I guess my first question is, are the sergeants in the union? Because I know that
Yes.
they are. Okay, so as far as them being in the union, with them being demoted, are they keeping their same pay?
That is going to be negotiated and bargained with the union, which, as I said previously, the union has already notified us that they'd like to discuss those issues.
Okay, so that could be a future.
Right. That can go one way or the other because we have to, it's determined on what happens in the negotiation.
Okay, so since it's going into negotiations, if you do this, if you eliminate the sergeants, is there a way to instead negotiate their job duties where you alter their job duties as sergeants, where it includes also going on patrol?
I'm not 100% sure if that would be in this particular case. I know it's something that we've tried to do in the past, but I don't know if it would happen in this particular case. Was that it, Madam Clerk? I mean, Madam Treasurer? Okay, then Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Alderman Randall L.
Yes.
Alderman Key.
No.
Alderman Rogers.
No.
Alderwoman Drewinski.
Yes.
Alderman Crudup.
Yes.
Alderman Tolbert.
I'm voting no, and for a matter of record, clerk, I feel that this is an attempt to bust a union. Please make sure that's reflected. Thank you.
Mayor Clark.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Our next item on the agenda is Ordinance 4C2, an ordinance amending Chapter 8-32 of the Harvey Municipal Code, vacant buildings, foreclosed properties, and rental properties. The chair would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
That was ordinance 3431, sorry.
Oh, the previous
Ordinance was 3431.
3431.
Sorry. Okay.
Okay. So once again, next item on the agenda is 4C2, an ordinance amending Chapter 8-32 of the Harvey Municipal Code, vacant buildings, foreclosed properties, and rental properties. The chair would entertain a motion.
So moved.
We already did that.
Oh, we did?
We
Well, who was the motion in the second?
A motion and Alderman Crudup.
Okay, there's a motion by the fifth and second by the third. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Alderman Tolbert.
Yes.
Alderman Key. Alderman Crudup. Alderwoman Drewinski.
Yes.
Alderman Rogers.
Yes.
Alderman Randall L.
Yes.
Motion carried. That's ordinance 3432.
Next item on the agenda is item 4C3, an ordinance amending Chapter 5-96 of the Harvey Municipal Code, Public Garages. The chair would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Motion by the fifth, second by the third. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Alderwoman Drwinski.
Yes.
Alderman Key.
Public garages. Yes, but we're in the middle of a vote now.
Alderman Crudup. Alderman Randall L.
Yes.
Alderman Rogers.
Yes.
Alderman Tolbert. Motion carried, and that is ordinance 3433. 3433.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Our next item on the agenda is new business 4C4.
Order, Mr. Mayor.
And
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what was those, or I have this ordinance too with the, I didn't hear it.
The last one is ordinance 3433, 3433, the one with the public garages.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
next item on the agenda is 4C4, an ordinance amending Chapter 5-06 of the Harvey Municipal Code, alcoholic beverages. The chair would entertain a motion.
Motion.
Point of order.
Motion to refer to Public Safety Committee.
Okay, we got a motion to defer to Public Safety Committee. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll? Well, wait a second. It was motion by the fifth and second by the second, correct? Make sure I do it right. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Alderman Tolbert. Yes. Alderman Key.
Yes.
Alderman Crudup. Yes. Alderwoman Drwinski.
Yes.
Alderman Rogers.
Yes.
Alderman Randall L.
Yes.
Motion carried. Referred to Public Safety Committee.
Yeah, Public Safety. Next item on the agenda is item number 4C5, a resolution approving a contract for professional services with Antero Group for, excuse me, for 154th Street Complete Streets Project.
Point of order.
Motion to approve.
Okay, we had a motion to approve. Is this for debate? Who made the point of order?
I made a point of order.
Okay, is this for debate, good sir?
Actually, yeah, yes, Your Honor. What happened is I had an opportunity to read this contract earlier today, and the contract seems to be pretty adequate, pretty cut and dry, but there were lots of pencil markings that somebody marked in with a pencil on regards to the city of Harvey and our best interest. What I would like to see done is the original contract typed up without all the pencil markings on there, and allow me an opportunity to read it again, and then let's bring it back to council for the vote.
What pencil markings are you talking about?
All right, let's go all the way down to
Anybody
the
got
bottom.
pencil markings? Did they have the correct one?
Yeah, there were lots of them. Okay, here's,
Oh, I'm looking at it right now.
okay, somebody wrote in here with a pencil.
That does not involve claims by.
This city standard terms,
So the attorney's notes were included into the agreement. So those were his notes, and
okay, there's quite a few of them, Mr. Williams, but I feel comfortable having the real contract typed up, and then let's read it. Let's type in all these pencil markings, and then let's bring it back.
Okay, well, we do have, first of all, we'll see where they, thank you very much, Alderman. I appreciate that. We do have a motion, so the first thing I'm going to ask, the motion to approve, the first thing I'm going to ask is there a second? There's a second on the motion? Madam? No, the Fifth Ward made the motion.
The motion to go to,
No, the Fifth Ward made the motion to approve.
I'll second.
It's second by the first,
Second with the corrections noted.
yeah. And, so Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Alderwoman Drwinski.
Yes, with
Yes, with the corrections.
Alderman Key,
Yes.
Alderman Crudup, Alderman Randall L.,
Yes.
Alderman Rogers,
No.
Alderman Tolbert. Motion carried, and that's Resolution 2943. 2943.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Next item on the agenda is number 5, public comment. It looks like we have public comment from, is it Sharitha? Okay, Sharitha Gaston from CETA. Is Ms. Gaston either online or is she here? Okay, well, we'll give it a second.
Don't read no messages about you again.
Okay, so we do not have any public comment. Yes. Well, yeah, so we're gonna get into that anyway. What was it? There's no one else here. Yeah, this is all staff and us. So before we adjourn, thank you. Oh my goodness. Several announcements that need to be made. The first one, well, let me get to the easier ones first. City of Harvey City Hall will be closed on Monday, May 31st, 2021, in observance of Memorial Day. Have a safe and enjoyable day. City Hall will be open on Tuesday, June 1st, 2021 for regular business hours. Please be safe, celebrate in peace. Of course, that's from myself and, of course, our city clerk, Rosa Emarambula. The next item to announce, which Alderman Key just brought to my attention, was the passing of Dolores Thornton. If anybody knows Dolores Thornton, well, I'll just speak what I know about her. She was a ray of, as far as my life is concerned, a ray of sunshine. She was one of those people that could cheer you up when you needed to be cheered up, but she was also one of those people that could tell you like it is when you need to be told. And so she will be greatly missed. The arrangements are at Leak & Sons Funeral Homes, the South Suburban location, 18400 South Pulaski Road, Country Club, Hills, Illinois. The visitation is Thursday, May 27th, which is 3 days from now, from 2 to 4. And then the wake is Friday, May 28th, from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock p.m. And then they have a repast that same day on Friday after the wake in the repast room from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock. So yes, she will be greatly missed. And thank you so much, Alderman, for bringing that to my attention, to everyone's attention. The other issue that we have to deal with that is not so wonderful is the passing of former mayor of the city of Harvey, David Johnson. He was the mayor in the city of Harvey from 1983 to 1995. He was a lot of things here in the city, but first of all, he was Harvey. I will say that much. He was Harvey all day, every day. He came here to the city of Harvey, and he did something back in the I would say the late 70s and early 80s that I will honestly say that I, as a black man, and I was actually a black boy at that time, was very impressed to see. I had not known anyone that had gone to college, okay, at that particular point in time. And I met this guy, and I told you it was Cornell, but it was Rutgers, you know. And I met this guy, and you know, and everybody was talking about he graduated from Rutgers, you know. And I forgot how old I was, but I'm like, what's a Rutgers? Because I had not even, you know, considered college at that particular point in time because of my age, and I had never met anyone that had went because no one in my family had gone. And then I met David. And so he became an inspiration, a friend, a trusted advisor at times when he was needed. But he was also the first black mayor here in the city of Harvey. He was a teacher at South Suburban. Actually, it was Thornton Community College at the time. Thornton Community College, which became South Suburban. He also taught at Prairie State as well. He was a contributor to the Harvey Star newspaper. I think it was every 2 weeks he wrote a column for the Harvey Star. Of course, you know, in our resolution, we talk about the fact that he also taught at Governor State University, of course, served on various boards throughout the South Suburban area. He taught African American history, urban studies. And I really just want to kind of focus on that because one of the things that David did at a time when I was growing up is he made at least me and others realize that it was okay to be a black man. It was okay to be a black boy. That was all right. That this is hard, y'all. We couldn't go east of Halsted. Actually, I couldn't go east of the railroad tracks, the metro tracks, at that time when I was growing up here in the city of Harvey. And it's because I always thought that, well, my grandmother looked at it because she just wanted me to come back. She wanted me to come back alive. I always thought it was because I didn't deserve to be there, and I thought it was because I was less than. And here I was, a black boy, riding around the city, that I could only see half of it because I was less than. And I met people like David, people who were in HACO, people who were commissioners at the time that really made an impact on me. And David was one of them. When I talk about my first campaign, when I was 8 years old, it was dealing with those people. Those people who were inspiring me and encouraging me. I don't know if any of you have the same, thank you. I don't know if you have the same experiences, but I apologize, but thank you for bearing with me. But it was those people, and he was one of those people. And when I ran for alderman in 91, he had a choice of whether he was going to support Gloria Taylor at the time, or if he was going to support me. And he didn't support me. I was young, very naive, but it was a difficult decision for him. And the fact that it was even a difficult decision to me spoke volumes of what he thought about me as a person and as a friend. So I will leave it at that, and just announce. Yeah, if the alderman want to say something, of course, as well.
I would just like to offer my.
But before I'm going to give the visitation information. This visitation will be Monday, May 31st, 2021, from 10 a.m. until 11 a.m. And the funeral is 11 a.m. to 12 noon at Holy Temple Cathedral, 15912 Lincoln Avenue, Harvey, Illinois. And before I turn it over to the alderman of the fourth ward, I just want to just make sure I also put out there, look, regardless of whatever your political persuasion is, when it comes to mayors, when it comes to aldermen, when it comes to commissioners, when it comes to all of those people, or treasurers, or clerks, when it comes to those people, these are our people. And I really want to make sure that the people in the city of Harvey understand that these are our people. These are people who have sacrificed their time, their livelihoods, their families, to do everything that they have done. You know, we never engage in the politics of perfection or piety, because if you expect for everybody to be pious, then that's unreasonable, and you need to take a look at yourself in the mirror. But the people who serve this community, and there are not a lot of them, there are not a lot of mayors, there are not a lot of aldermen, there are not a lot of commissioners. The people who take the time to serve this community and get in these elected positions, we need to honor them. And we need to honor them to the highest degree. Because if we don't honor our own, believe you me, nobody else will. So on that note, the chair recognizes the alderman from the fourth ward.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to say that I graduated from high school in 1986, and I can remember a lot of my friends going to all these famous colleges, Morehouse, Michigan State, Illinois State, Northwestern, all these big names. I had a below 2.0 grade point average, so I couldn't even go to a major college, let alone get a scholarship. So I had to end up going to South Suburban, which was called TCC at the time. And by coincidence, Mr. Johnson was my black history teacher. So he taught me a lot of history that I didn't even know from 8th grade, because we had 8th grade in high school and going to college. And he was really deep and very knowledgeable, and I was just so proud of him becoming a black mayor, because I didn't think something like that could actually happen. And at the time, I'm trying to was he mayor before Harold Washington?
He came in shortly after.
Shortly
Yeah, it
after
was the same time. Yeah, it was the same time. Yeah.
Okay.
Except did Harold win that primary? Anybody remember?
Hero won the primary.
Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was around the same time.
At the time, it wasn't really, common for something like that, but he encouraged me to stay in school, and no matter what school it was I was going to, he was telling me how far I can advance. And I'm not saying I'm better than anybody, but I stayed in that junior college, ended up finding me a decent job at the bank, went to Roosevelt, graduated, from school, and everything carried on. It was like anything that I wanted to do, I could become. So he was just a really good guy, and he will be missed. And where's his picture at?
His picture is at the memorial out front, which I was going to announce after we finish. Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, that's where his picture is located right now.
Yeah, and that'll be about it, but we lost a good one.
Thank you. Chair recognizes the alderwoman of the first ward.
I too went to South Suburban College, then TCC, but I also had the privilege of working with Mayor Johnson as a colleague at South Suburban College. And I know firsthand the students loved him. And we would sit and talk about Harvey quite a bit. And I know he was a good ally, a good friend to the former Alderman Frank Bakarski. We got along really well. So he's definitely going to be missed. Thank you.
Mayor Johnson, yeah, he's definitely a great man. He's truly going to be missed. Mentor of mine. I didn't get to go to school to be a student, I should say, but I definitely learned a lot from the man. So yeah, he's going to be missed. Mayor, also, I want to make another public service announcement for the second ward. On May 29th, this upcoming Saturday, we're going to have a public community safety meeting. Mayor, I would like to invite you out if you can. That's this Saturday, the 29th. It's going to start about 11. And if you can maybe bring the Public Works Director and the Planning Director and the Police Chief. Residents. 15438 Second Ward Resource Center, Myrtle. 15438 Myrtle. And I actually sent the email. No, maybe I didn't. But I'll send an email again just to remind. But yeah, that's this upcoming Saturday. So I'm asking residents to bring their concerns, questions, and comments. As Corona has gone away, it's slowing down. More people are being vaccinated. It's time for us to get back. It will be outdoors. It won't be inside. So we'll be practicing social distancing. Also, I want to share another message from the Family Christian Health Center. They are encouraging people. Huh? That's yours? Oh, no, it was just, Dr. Green, I seen it Saturday, so I told her I would encourage people to get the vaccine. So they are doing the vaccine, and I am encouraging every resident to get it. I think all ages are eligible. It's free. Go and get it done. All right? Thank you.
Mr. Mayor? One more question. I just
Okay,
wanted to
Chair recognizes the first ward.
Thank you. I just wanted to make an announcement for those who attended the First Ward meeting at the Pentecostal Church in Harvey. It was a huge success. We gave our plant giveaway. I want to thank the mayor for attending, the clerk for attending. Unfortunately, the superintendent of the street department could not attend, but he had a family emergency. But I did take a lot of notes, and I will be forwarding those notes to you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Chair recognizes the Alderman from the sixth ward.
Since on the subject, I was very brand new homeowner when Mayor Johnson took office after the election with Mayor Haynes. This was back in 1977. I didn't have an opportunity to be one of the students. I think I was a little too old for that. We were more like brothers. But he was a great mayor. His leadership abilities are sorely going to be missed, and he was a great man. And I'd like to do a special acknowledgement and a special thanks to the mayor's office and Mr. Tim Williams, as well as Mr. Rick Sedgwick, for their diligence and their hard work over in the sixth ward. They came through like a thunderstorm and cleaned up alleys. They cut yards. They patched potholes. And the actual sixth ward looks like Beverly Hills, California right now.
Good.
So we're looking good. We have to educate our people on not to put all this debris and trash back out there, but I think that these people should be commended. Thank you so much.
The chair recognizes, I guess, we got two more left, the fifth ward. Do you have any comments, Alderman?
My condolences to the Johnson family.
Okay, thank you. Chair recognizes the third ward.
I wish I had some amazing stories like Alderman Keys, but sending condolences to the family. I actually have a third ward resident, Ms. Maina. That was her first cousin, so just want to let the family know that they are in the Crewed-Up's family's prayers. Oh, and I echo Alderman Tolbert's comments with Family Christian Health Center. Thank you, Alderman Tolbert.
Yes. Go ahead. Corporation Counsel has a few words.
I have never, is this on? Hello? I have never met your former mayor, and I haven't been able to relate to a lot of the different comments that have been made, but I think that what I would like to do is have our law firm make a $1,000 contribution to the Harvey Community Foundation to set up a scholarship in the former mayor's name so that you can benefit future youth here.
Honestly, that would be absolutely wonderful because he was definitely a man of education and learning. I mean, he never stopped, period. I mean, if you went by his house, first thing he gonna hit you with, it's kind of reminds me, what's that guy's name from the Big Bang Theory? Sheldon. He gonna hit you with a fun fact, but it's usually a fun fact about Africa or some other country, you know, some other continent or country. So thank you so much for that. Another thing that I want to add, if I can turn this thing on. Would you be so kind? Thank you. The Cook County, I can't read. Yes, Cook County Department of Public Health is also, as we were talking about being vaccinated, is offering free COVID-19 vaccinations. Walk-ins are welcome. This is taking place at Thornton Township High School, 15001 Broadway here in Harvey, 60426, starting Tuesday, May 25th. That's starting tomorrow. The hours are Monday through Friday from 10:30 a.m. to 7 p.m., Saturday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. And if you want more information, you can call 312-864-0591. Once again, that's 312-864-0591. I'd like to encourage, thank you very much. I'd like to encourage every alderperson, if you can, to contact the people in your ward, the residents, and to try to encourage them to get vaccinated. You and I still, Alderman, we still have a walking date. We're going to try to make that within the next few days to get that done because it's definitely gotten warmer now. Remember, I told you let it get a little bit warmer? So we're going to get out there, and maybe we can do that as we're walking through the 4th Ward. But we'd like to encourage, like I said, all of the aldermen to try to touch base with your residents in the ward and encourage them to get vaccinated. It's a very important thing. We have not reached herd immunity yet. Hopefully we will. But the one thing we would like to see everybody in the city of Harvey who lives in the city of Harvey or who works in the city of Harvey to be vaccinated. That would be a wonderful thing, and we're protecting ourselves and we're protecting our families.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Just to add in, District 205 is from 12 years old and up.
Yes, from 12 and up.
That's
Yes.
very important.
Yes, it's from 12 and up, 12 years old and up, and if you are under the age of 18, you need to be accompanied by a parent. Okay. So on that note, if there is no more business for the order, the chair would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by the first, second by the sixth. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Alderwoman Drwinski?
Yes.
Alderman Tolbert? No. Alderman Crudup? Yes. Alderman Key? Yes. Alderman Randall L?
Yes.
Alderman Rogers? Yes. Motion carried. And
Thank
it
you very
is
much.
7:26.
8:26.
Oh, sorry, 8:26, yeah.
Thank you very much.